I'm a senior solution consultant at ACI. ACI is a global software company which specialises in payment orchestration. So helps customers go through and enables them to make payments through our payment application.
It's obviously a big time for customer authentication with the introduction of SCA in the UK. What are some of the challenges that you've experienced in terms of customer profiling and customer exemptions as well?
Exemptions and profiling is very key. At ACI we have 6 pillars in terms of gambling and when it comes to gaming from that side. So you have to look at things like tokenization, your analytics, your acquiring, so looking at local as well as multi-acquiring from that point. And you need to look at things like authentication and customer profiling to go through and help with that. So those are some of the key pillars which we have. And it's key that you work with a payment provider who is, really does have that strong area in that side of business so that you can work on things like the rules to cause less friction to your end consumers, which are going to be there, because as soon as they get more friction, they're going to disappear onto another site.
To talk more generally about fraud and the fight against fraud and the strategy of fraudulent people, if you like, fraudsters, has evolved dramatically over recent years.
And I think there's been a big increase in that, as you say, and it has evolved a lot with things like, organised fraud and things like friendly fraud as well. You look at friendly fraud and you think, oh well, it's not that important, but actually it is quite large, and the organised fraud from that point is also growing because there's money in there. It's such a key area to look at from a fraud point of view.
Does that really underline the importance of merchants being flexible and yourself being flexible as well?
You have to be flexible, and that's what ACI strives by, having a flexible solution which you can customise to the actual merchant's needs or from the enterprise customer. It's about having flexibility. It's the key with being acquire agnostic, and we can help merchants go through and work with them to build that flexibility and look at the design as to what's required from there.
That flexibility and that general equipment to battle fraud take on heightened importance in the igaming industry where it's such a high risk vertical.
It really does, yes, because you've got to look at that level of fraud and you've got to try and action it, but you've got to make it simple, and having that inside information which companies like, a company like ACI will go through and have, because this is what we do day in, day out. So we have all that data and we're using that data to help the merchants.
We often hear this notion that to remove friction also removes security from the customer journey. Can we end that notion now and we can have a frictionless customer journey that maintains that security against fraud as well?
Absolutely. With the intelligent profiling which you can go through and do, you can really take that friction away. And I think that's key to the consumer journey and having that flexibility and making it from there. So it's really about your profiling engine and trying to go through and make sure that you've got all the data in there. So going back to your point, that data is vital for us going through and making a smoother journey from that point.